When collecting is all you can think about, think Upper Deck ePack, where you can buy, open, and trade hockey cards and authentic memorabilia from anywhere at any time. Real cards, real trades. Collect Upper Deck.
All right, David, Upper Deck Player Spotlight time here on the fourth period, brought to you by our very good friends over at Upper Deck. As usual, let's start with the player on the Carolina Hurricanes who leads their team in scoring, and Martin Necas.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think a lot of people expected him to be not only just leading the Hurricanes in scoring, but being top 20 in the NHL right now as we're recording this in scoring as well. This guy right here has been a very key piece for his team. And you can understand why the Hurricanes were so reluctant to move him in the last couple of seasons. A lot of teams during trade discussions were like, hey, we want this kid. We want Necas to be part of our club. If we're going to give you some big pieces, we want him back too. Well, kudos to Donnie Waddell and the staff there in Raleigh to hold firm on holding him because he's, as you said, their leading scorer right now in the offensive category. He's creating offensive opportunities. He's certainly young, and that's attributed to a big part of their success in the early going of this season. This guy right here is just coming into his own. He's going to be a very good player for this team for a long time, and a guy that they're going to count on to provide an extra spark to that lineup. Game in, game out.
We talked about this guy in Prague. We saw him, play obviously in Prague, and, he hasn't really stopped his stellar play. It's kind of a revenge tour for Erik Karlsson, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And, going into it, I was very curious. We talked about it. Very curious to see how he would perform so far this season. And this guy here, we got the Upper Deck MVP card of his. Well, he is without a doubt, the Sharks MVP in the early going of this season. I mean, this guy is leading the all defensemen in points to this point. He's among the top 10 in scoring in the National Hockey League. And we really thought that, okay, if he does well, the Sharks have a good chance of making a little bit of noise this season. They've got some deficiencies in that roster, certainly, but that hasn't stopped Erik Karlsson from having his, as you said, revenge tour. He's been fully healthy. He's got a little chip on his shoulder because so many people have counted him out. But this is a guy who, Norris caliber player over the course of his career. Maybe it's because he got a fresh new do at the start of the season, cut his hair, and is feeling fresh again, got a little extra weight lifted off him. But certainly this is a guy that is performing really well. I'm very curious as to how his future is going to play out with the Sharks. That's for a different discussion. But right now he's just doing wonders. Both of these guys really performing tremendously well for their clubs so far this season.
He could take a line out of the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, Geno Smith's playbook, and say they wrote me off, but they didn't write back, right? So Erik Karlsson is doing very well for the San Jose Sharks, and Martin Necas as well. Two guys hoping to propel their teams to higher levels this season, David.